really admire Usha Vance, and like I hope that there are more Usha Vance equivalents in all political parties.
I want to hear what the Indian community makes of Usha Vance.
I think Usha Vance is very aspirational, especially as a girl that's dating American guys. She makes me feel confident that it's not abnormal to be in an interracial relationship, that it's not abnormal to have conservative points of view. I think it's really special that there's actually one that's taken such a public position. I think it's really actually a good thing for America.
What did you make of his comment that he hoped that she would convert to Christianity?
I think it was taken out of turn, because if that was really true, there's no way that they would have gotten married.
It's so interesting getting your point of view, because it's so different to the point of view we normally think about, especially around Usha.
Gonna be bringing the Indian ethos wherever they go. They can.
And I hope they do. I really admire Usha Vance. Yeah. I really, really admire her.
You guys remember when somebody asked me why I focus specifically on the South Asian community? And I responded by saying that I was deeply concerned that this youngest generation was being taught that the Viveks and Ushas of the world were the path to success, so they should deeply, deeply lean into pick-me culture and proximity to whiteness. Well, exhibit A. I normally have like a fully fleshed out thought when I bring something like this to you, but I'm genuinely sick. Like, this ruined my morning. And this doesn't even consider the statements that Zarna made about illegal immigration earlier in this interview. You have the British woman looking at these two and telling them, hey, your perspectives are a little embarrassing. You sure you want to say this publicly? And they doubled down. I'm deeply concerned about the lack of mirrors in this household. Do y'all know what you look like? Zarna, do you ever play back your specials? Do you know what you sound like? This child was born with every privilege imaginable in New York City. And this is how she thinks. Because of who? Her mother. Zarna, you realize you are next on Stephen Miller's list, right? Babe, what are the conservative values that you align with that make you and Usha buddies? I mean, obviously, besides the fucking white supremacists who fetishize you but will never actually see you as a whole human being. Is it the gleeful gutting of our healthcare system and public health apparatus in general, the torching of the CDC, the fact that we all have so many lovely measles outbreaks to look forward to? Is it the dwindling autonomy you will have over your own body and the fact that conservatives enjoy watching women be used as human incubators? Is it the fact that they want you to be trapped in a marriage and actually not have the ability to work outside your home? Because if that's the case, bitch, why are you in front of a mic right now? Why does your mother leave her kitchen and end up on a stage? That seems counterintuitive, no? Why did you bother going to college? You should currently have your head in a white man's oven. I don't know what you're doing here. Is it the kidnapping and torture of vulnerable, hardworking brown bodies just trying to survive and make a living for themselves and their children in this country? You know, people who look very similar to you. Is it the fun, reptile-infested concentration camps? Is that what gets you off? You gotta tell me, is it the starving of our most vulnerable children and elderly by cutting off their food access? Is it the PDF enabling? Is it the war crimes? I'm trying to figure out what it is that you guys align with. What it is about Usha that you're like, yeah, because her husband seems to validate Indian hate left, right, and center. Is it that? I mean, you probably hate other Indian people. I absolutely believe that about you guys after this. Remember when Usha's husband demonized legal immigrant communities by perpetuating false racist reports about them eating cats and dogs? Is it that? Sort of a Kristen Chenoweth, Charlie Kirk conundrum. Because Zarna, liberal Indians tend to be your biggest supporters, but this all makes sense now. It really does. I think I'm beyond the anger stage. I am just so deeply disappointed and sad that this is what Gen Z Indians are like. I honestly don't know what to do. I am losing steam a little bit getting on here every day talking about this because it's breaking my heart. It's genuinely breaking my heart. The lack of empathy that Indian immigrants like you teach your children. Zarna, maybe your mother-in-law was right about you all along. Hey, this message is for Zarna Garg. If you aren't Zarna Garg, but you are South Asian, Beto. Zarna, we all saw the interview. While I haven't followed your career too closely, from what I saw on a superficial level, it was an Indian woman in her second act, post-marriage and children, trying to find herself and succeed in a field that even in this country is still incredibly male-dominated. You were breaking the mold, and whether or not we thought your humor was overly reductive and stereotypical drivel, Indian liberals, particularly women, wanted to support you because it truly did seem like you were a trailblazer. Zarna, my brother came out in his late 20s, which was about 5 or 6 years ago. And given how liberal a family we are, we asked him, what took him so long? Especially considering one of our Mossies came out 2 decades ago. And what he told us was that his number one fear about coming out was the shame and judgment he felt he would experience from the older people in my parents' friendship circle. You know, the aunties and uncles with those toxic, backward views. He was afraid that those people would look at my parents and feel like they had failed because they had a gay son. Heartbreaking, right? No idea what they said behind our backs, but luckily most of those people kept their mouths fucking shut. So when the trailer for your movie, A Nice Indian Boy, came out, my brother was elated because we figured that you were choosing this role in order to help model healthy behavior for all the fellow aunties and uncles in their communities, in order to help them understand and accept queerness. We all got so emotional in this theater because we thought this was genuine progress for our community. Then that news about Riyadh came out a few months ago, and I thought, this is odd. But everything came together after that Daily Beast interview yesterday. Now I'm learning all a cash grab. I mean, no morals, but at least you got that MasterCard, you know?
I mean, the Indian community loves Trump. Don't have the problems with him that a lot of people in America have.
Why is that?
Well, first of all our politicians are crooked back home. So that just seems to be a job requirement. And they're like, of course.
You are literally talking to a British person. Zarna, you want to tell her why? No? Okay, whatever.
Like, of course he's a criminal, they all are. Like, nobody who's not a criminal wants to do this job.
Right.
You know?
Interesting.
So that
Okay.
so we're kind of comfortable with that. Like, of course he's cheated on his wife. They all do. We don't even consider any of those issues. Now, when it comes to immigration, Indian people, by and large, are legal immigrants in America.
Wrong. That's just boldly wrong on its face. Let's read the stats from the Pew Research Center together. After Mexico, the countries with the largest unauthorized immigrant populations in the United States were El Salvador and, oh, what? Is that India? And you know what, Zarna? I have a sneaky feeling that the number would be larger if the flight wasn't so long. Truly. Let's continue.
Years of applying paperwork, hundreds and thousands of verifications, and submit this and submit that. So the illegal immigration thing was something that we never really got on board with.
Zarna, just so we're clear, the ability to wait and have the cash to go through the process, that is broken. The fact that it takes years is highly problematic. But the reality is there is inherent privilege in the ability to do that, because those people are not escaping war, famine, drug lords, certain torture and or death. They are coming here for economic opportunity. A little different.
During the Biden administration, we could not understand why they were not taking this seriously.
Also lies, because deportation figures are public and Googleable. I can't have left to say that Biden was a deporter-in-chief. That Biden deported more people than Trump, and now you're telling me he didn't recognize a problem. Sure, he was accepting asylum, unlike Trump. He tried to appoint more immigration judges. There was so much. Was it perfect? Absolutely not, because again, our immigration system is broken. But you know what Biden didn't do? He didn't start blowing up boats in the Caribbean in an attempt to start a war with Venezuela so that he could destabilize the country, you know, for oil, which in turn only makes the immigration crisis worse. And historically, Zarna, the US going into Mexico, Central and South America, destabilizing the shit out of these regions for our own ends, obviously, is precisely what has created these immigrant crises in the first place, FYI. But rather than helping reform the system, Trump is just choking it out. And now that he hates Modi, I think those Indians will be waiting a lot longer than 15 years, don't you? And Zarna, I have to say, I find it particularly funny that you are sitting in front of this woman saying that Indians do things the right way, while simultaneously saying that all of our politicians are corrupt. They're so corrupt, we don't even pay attention anymore. Square those things for me, because I'm having a hard time with that one. Are we rule followers or not? And you know, Zarna, since people like you have such a hard time putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, especially someone in dire straits, let me give you a hypothetical. Imagine if China consistently for the last century went into different parts of India to destabilize regions. Imagine if they stoked sectarian violence. Imagine if they resource plundered, they caused famines and religious wars, undermined elections, installed despots. Imagine if they made the region essentially unlivable, unsurvivable. All this while China remained the only country in the region that was safe and prosperous and had low-wage jobs available for Indians to take. Zarna, do you think Indians, knowing how Darwinian our nature is, would wait patiently in line for years? Or do you imagine they tried to jump it? Or even the border? What do you think? Do you get it now, or? And you know what? If you don't, it's very clear that you are devoid of empathy. It makes sense why your comedy is so bad. Because you kind of need empathy. Empathy is a requirement for good comedy. It's exactly why all those red-pilled podcasters have to lean into accents and stereotypes. They're hacks. Oh, and speaking of red-pilled guys, imagine red-pilling your own children and then putting one of them in front of a journalist and a microphone to share her dangerous and deeply unpopular perspectives with the world. I know you know the hate we get, especially since I know your comment sections are open. I know you see the polling. This wasn't a TikTok hot take she posted. You set this up. Listen, I'm not a parent, but that's a choice. And going back to the Indians love Trump thing, interesting how you never mentioned the racism or Islamophobia. I mean, the immigration stuff is just thinly veiled racism, but you know what I mean? And also a little weird to not acknowledge how Indians are currently being treated by this current administration, particularly the ones in this administration. Odd. You know what? Bottom line, Zarna, you could have kept your mouth shut about your trash politics, and you could have just continued to tell your tired mother-in-law jokes. Although I will say 2004 has been desperately trying to get in touch with you about getting those back. But either way, we wouldn't have known. And some of us would have continued to support you. That being said, now I hope you enjoy your all MAGA crowds. But I imagine you're gonna have a harder time selling out those shows. Unless, I don't know, at the end of your set, you're handcuffed and dragged away to a deportation plane with, I don't know, like a Miley Cyrus song playing in the background. They do seem to love that stuff. It's a party in the USA, Zarna. Good luck.